on, family? How is everybody doing? Listen, before I forget, book club Thursday. I'm not gonna put the image of the book up because if you don't have the image, you ain't coming already. So that's just what it is. Thursday we will have the book club, so we will have another show. We're gonna get this one in and out, but we're gonna have another show. So we will have Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you know, it is what it is, and we are where we are. So, family, listen, we got a lot to talk about. Before we do that, please hit that like button for me. Don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. You in there right now. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Anyway, fam, also hit that bell for me. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button for me. I would appreciate it. You can also go to subscribetobrown.com. I sent out a newsletter on Sunday, but I sent to everybody who had subscribed because I felt like everybody needed it. And just to know, it's so much information out there. So I felt like everybody needed the newsletter, so I sent it to everybody. If I have your email address, I will send it to you that way, probably for the next at least few weeks. So subscribe to Brown.com. Just go there, give me your email address. It will only be for the newsletter. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not trying to sell nothing. I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm just trying to send you something that I think you might need. And if you don't need it, just delete it. It ain't hard. So please share this too, fam. Please share this. Please share this. I appreciate it. Let's cross all our I's and dot all our T's today. Fam, listen. Here's the thing. It's so much to say, but so much doesn't need to be said. So much that you already know. That to an extent has to be kind of reiterated. Woke up, earlier and was on Twitter and missed it, and the verdict to come in. The verdict had come in on the what was it on this, we were the only ones there, right? And here's the thing. When we talk about Byron Allen, let's give the context for the people who weren't around for the context. Y'all Johnny come lately dodo birds. I'm so sick of y'all. We're going to get to why I'm sick of y'all in a minute. I'm so sick of so many people. But we're going to get to that in a minute. But for those who may have, don't even know the context, I'm going to go through a couple of articles just to show you kind of what happened. But most of us know we were talking about the but-for standard. So what we were talking about, the first thing we have to really understand is that stop saying Byron Allen lost today. Like, just start right there. Let's just stop saying that, because Byron Allen's fine. He's going to be okay. He's doing just fine. Regardless. I mean, if you don't believe me, go look at his house. Go look at what he just bought. Just go look at the cash offers. Go look at he's fine. We lost today. And we lost the standard. So if you say, so that the whole context of, Byron Byron lost today. Y'all's man lost. No, we lost. And if you can't see the context of what that means, or what that verdict means, and yeah, I know I forgot to cross the T. Shut up about it. But if you can't understand what that means, then like you're not bright enough to be here. And like that's some of what we're running into. We're running into like children. So as grown ADOS people, that's kind of what we're running into. Now let's just go back. Let's rewind for a minute. Let's rewind for 1 second. Let's go back to the Supreme Court, and let's just remember before we get into the details, let's remember who was there and who was not there at the Supreme Court the day of. Because what you have to do if you want policies and you want verdicts and you want good stuff to come your way, you have to advocate for it. That's the history of politics in the world. That's the history of any kind of advancement or achievement in the world. You have to advocate for it. If you don't advocate for it, you don't get it. And the only people who were there were ADOS. That's all of the people who were there that day. That's it. Remind you, let's make sure that we remember who didn't show up that day. Well, what do you mean, Yvette, who didn't show up that day? Let's make sure we understand that the people who were really supposed to be there, because we don't have any funding, the people who showed up that day did not have any funding from anyone. They self-funded themselves because of that. And shout out to all of y'all who were there. But let's not forget that the NAACP came the day before for DACA and didn't show up for this case. Before we get to what the ruling was, I just want to make sure everybody understands what that means. That means you have institutions right now that are built for us, but are not standing up for us. These are captured institutions whose sole purpose is to give away our birthright to other groups. I don't see how anybody finds that funny. I don't see how anybody doesn't view that as a problem. And as the country's being ripped apart by coronavirus and everything that comes with it, everybody's about to learn. So if you're one of those people who's chuckling and giggling right now, you might be homeless tomorrow, and I won't care. And I'm tired of caring. I'm not doing that stuff no more. Well, let's just care about everybody. We got to teach them. No, we ain't doing that no more. The gate's up, and the gate's up on a few of us too. Understand that. Now let's get to what we got to get to. We're going to get to what we got to get to, because I want everybody to understand. Well, I pulled a few articles so everybody can understand exactly what happened and what transpired. But I just want to go back for just 1 second, because we all know, I'm not going to revisit it because I'm not reliving it. I'm tired of playing with fools. But I think we all remember had to have during that week where we were trying to advocate and we were at the Supreme Court doing all this work, like and moving in this direction. I think we all have to actually remember as well that there were a lot of people who were in our way, and they should not be forgiven. From Tariq Nasheed to Boyce Watkins, there were a lot of people who were engaging in conspiracy theories, right? You can't, there were a lot of people who were just engaging in conspiracy theories and so that neutralized what we were trying to do, because it made it seem like, well, maybe they're right, because everybody wants to take the path of least resistance, right? So if I tell you, well, we need to be doing X. If I tell you that, and then somebody else tells you, you ain't got to do nothing because that's all a scammity scam. Then what are you going to do? You're going to go the path of least resistance. Right? And that's why the day looked like this. See, we don't put any pressure. We didn't really put any pressure on you had with DACA, you had the NAACP out there strong. The civil rights case of 1866, it was just ADOS. That's what the day looked like. And the day looked like that for a reason, fam. Just understand that. That was the day. The NAACP didn't show up for us. And if you don't show up for us, we have no choice but to take you over, because you have no right to exist. You don't know who you work for. Mark Morial out here getting money. He trying to build a new building and do all this stuff. He trying to do all this stuff for himself and enrich himself. But nothing but say, well, who's going to build my building if Comcast don't do it or come through? How do you not understand who lost today? Mark Morial won. He gonna have his paper, honey. He gonna have his paper regardless. He gonna get his money. And what you gonna do about it? People were doing, like I said, conspiracy theories. How does it look now? Everybody was listening to a TV judge. Byron Allen is fronting. I'm not even gonna read this dumb man stuff. You all letting these stupid people get out in front of something. Understand that they announced this during the middle of a pandemic. Understand how disrespectful that is. The Supreme Court really shouldn't be hearing anything other than stuff that like it has to do with the pandemic. Everything else should be put off. Unless somebody says, this is really pertinent. We need this right now because it has something to do with industry. We need it right now because this is going to affect how we're going to move within the pandemic. No. They behaved disrespectfully because they can, because it's us. And why would they? We are listening to these people who come up with all these propagandas. And I remember Tariq was, Judge Joe, I just got off the phone with Joe. Who takes this? I mean, and we wonder why we aren't taken seriously as a group. By what right? We're not behaving like the ancestors who fought for us to be here. We're abdicating everything with the exception of ADOS. Look at the people who just got in the way. And everybody, let me just say this. Everybody who got in the way is eating good. Everybody who got in the way of what we're doing seems to have fallen into a good life. And we don't even know how to consult expertise. Well, he was a TV judge. What does that mean, though? He comes from professional blacks. We already talked about all this. But we let these people get in the way of something. And their voice done changed his tune. Well, it just showed that we ain't got no allies. That's what it showed. No, it shows that it shows that you are a snake or a salesman. Y'all are hustlers. And if you can't recognize hustlers, I don't know what you do as a group. If you can't recognize who is here for the real thing and who is here for some other thing, I don't know how we move forward if we can't realize and recognize real from fake. If you can't do that, then what good is it? I don't know how we're here and we still talk about, well, Boyce has a business. No, he don't. Ain't nobody got no factories. Ain't nobody got no land. Ain't nobody got nothing but just selling you on an idea that you're going to be rich. That's not a business. And he doesn't have the mind to understand this. So what you do if you don't have the mind, you just clickbait. Well, I'm just going to destroy everything you do. I'm just going to say some stuff. And then when the stuff don't work out, I'm going to say some different stuff. Same thing with coronavirus. But let's look at what happened. Supreme Court affirms strict standard to prove race discrimination in contracting. Now let's look at this a little bit. To win the case in lower courts now, Allen's Entertainment Studios Network and National Association of African American owned media will have to prove that race was the determinative factor in the snub. During oral arguments in November, Associate Justice Samuel Alito wondered if the case was headed toward doom. The court's decision puts in place a tougher burden of proof that will likely make it more difficult for many discrimination victims, said Kirsten Clark, president of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law. No doubt this ruling may shut the courthouse door on discrimination victims. Allen lost in federal district court, but won a reversal at the U.S. Court of Appeals on the Ninth Circuit. A key issue in the case before the Supreme Court was whether his network must show that race was the sole reason for the denial of contract or just one factor. What we're talking about when we say that is the but-for rule. That's what we're talking about. But for race, I would have had this contract. But for race, I would have had this job or whatever. But for. See, what you want to do in any kind of case when you're before, you just try to be selfish for one moment. Can you? Like what we try to do is say we want the law to favor us, in the best way possible. I want a law. So I need this law to be as broad as possible because I will never be able to. We don't live in a period where people run around saying the N-word or I don't serve blacks. So what you have to do, you have to have, in that kind of situation, what you have to have, for them to tell you what you have to have is a smoking gun means that you can't file because you're never going to have a smoking gun. You're never going to be in a situation where, I don't know a better way to put it, but you're never going to be in a situation where, oh my God, I found all the emails where they was saying specifically that they're not going to give me this contract because I'm black. And they called me a little monkey child. And they said this, I have found the smoking gun. You won't. Not only because of the era that we live in, but because of the efficiency of white supremacy and racist companies. That's just what it is. We didn't build it this way. We live here, but we didn't build this. America is the most efficient. Is quite efficient, the most efficient. Even when you look back at slavery in terms of white supremacy, most efficient. So when you understand how efficient America is at subjugating us, you understand that those same Americans hire and fire people. And what you understand is you're not going to catch them in the act. You're not going to catch some smoking gun and say, I got it right now. You have to, because let me just give you an example. Right? Let's say you have a job. Let's say you're a black woman and you have a job. And you go to your job, every day. You're rarely late. But you were late a couple of times. Now, because you work at the job that you get treated very differently than the little white women on your job. You know that they look at you. The white women can wear different clothes and have their shoulder out. But the minute you come around, they tell you that you got to adhere specifically to the code of conduct. And then they'll bring you in there and show you the code of conduct book, how you doing it all wrong. But you see this thing, and what you see happening is that, hold on. What you see happening is, hold on a second. They're treating me differently. I'm not getting promotions. I'm more qualified. All kinds of stuff. They're treating me differently. And the only thing that I see different between me is that I'm black and these women is white. And so they fire you. Now, let's say you found out, you heard or you saw something, and you found out that race is one of the motivating factors in getting you fired. But what if your company says, yeah, but it wasn't the determining factor? See, because you were also late. So yeah, race was a factor, but it wasn't the determining factor. It was a motivating factor and not the determining factor. You can't prove it's a determining factor, so you lose. That gives companies a right to discriminate because, hey, there are a lot of motivating factors. I didn't like your shoes. Sometimes when you walk by the door, you poop. Maybe you got uncontrolled flatulence or whatever. But it's a lot. So it's a lot of stuff, including race. That is permission to discriminate, because what you're basically saying is, but for you can't prove but for race, you would have still had your job, because they're saying there were other factors. And let me just say something else, fam. A company can always come up with other factors. A company can always backtrack and put stuff in there that you would never be able to prove. A company can always write you up for something that everybody else gets away with. A company can always do that. You need a motivating factor rule as opposed to a determining factor. So it doesn't work. So I don't see how, like, just from where I sit, I don't see how people still file for discrimination. I just don't see how it happens. I don't see what happens. I don't see how that's possible. And I don't see how you prove it. You can't. There is no smoking gun. So how would you do that? How is that possible? But hey, most people are not going to try to figure that out. They just gonna sit around and say a bunch of stupid stuff about why they didn't support the case. I believe Yvette and Tone they was getting hooked up, and they was getting hooked up by Byron. Still here, no hookup. Me and Antonio didn't get a dime, and I don't want to do that, because I don't want to be nobody's employee. We didn't get anything. So all of those conspiracy theories too. Oh, I remember the other conspiracy theory. This was a Tariq's conspiracy theory. Oh, I had to tell y'all. I meant to tell y'all that they was getting hooked up with the Democrats. When did that happen? All these lies. See, that's the thing. Nobody goes ever back and check the lie. Go back and check the lie and revisit the lie and say, wait a minute, you told me they was getting hooked up by Democrats. I still see them saying down ballot Democrat, the same thing they always said. What's this hookup you were talking about? Nobody goes back to Joe Brown and say, you cost us. Like, we could have supported this if we hadn't bought into your conspiracy theory narrative. But the question lies in the people who got caught up in that too. Like, why are you such dodo birds? I'm just asking a question. It's a valid question. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and just ask yourself, why am I stupid? Like, why do I get caught up in whatever kind of little weird theory somebody puts online, and I just get stuck in and say, well, yeah, that sounds like that could be right. That might be something. Yeah. That's what they into. They got a point. I think it might be something to that. Spirits. The theory never made any sense. None of these dumb theories ever made any sense. But people are always real good. People are always real good at, like, you know, basically coming up with stupid stuff for us to believe and for us to buy into it. Yeah. That sounds like it might have been. Yeah, that makes sense. Don't make a lick of sense. So I want to go to, hold on, I had another. I don't think people stopped talking until Diddy came out and said, yeah, this is a problem. I don't want to be viewed as like having inclusion. And all of a sudden, all the people who love hip hop is like, oh, well, Diddy said something. I guess I'm going to shut up. You should have shut up a long time ago. God, life would be so much better if some people would just be quiet. You don't always got to talk. You got to hear yourself talk. Go in the bathroom, shut the door, and just talk to your heart's content. But we don't want to hear it all the time. But see, and that's the problem though, isn't it? Too many of us do. Too many of us do want to hear just the stupidest stuff. We don't care. Don't matter. It is what it is. Hold on. There was one part I wanted to bring up that was really interesting. Yeah, this is the same thing I just said about the but for, but there was something else. Hold on. His, when they say his, they mean Byron Allen's suit was legally significant because it relied on the historic Civil Rights Act of 1866. Enacted a year after the Civil War, it decreed that blacks shall have the same right to make and enforce contracts as enjoyed by white citizens. That's not a conspiracy. That's just the law. That's not, I don't care what TV judges tell you. That's just the law. U.S. District Judge Terry Hatter considered several amended complaints, but ultimately dismissed Byron Allen's because Allen did not have evidence to show that racial bias was the reason for Comcast's decision not to carry his channels. But the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed and cleared the way for the suits against both Comcast and Charter Communications to proceed. Its judges said that if race appears to have been a motivating factor, that is sufficient to proceed. And here's the thing, that's what you want. You want race as being a motivating factor to make it sufficient to proceed. That's what you want. That's what you want to be able to rally behind. That's what we should have been able to rally behind. We couldn't. We couldn't though. Now let me go to this next part. Hold on a second. We can infer from the allegations that discriminatory intent played at least some role in Comcast's refusal to contract with entertainment studios, thus denying the latter the same right to contract as a white-owned company. The Ninth Circuit said. The appeals court added that plaintiffs at the early stage of a suit could not be expected to have all the evidence needed to prove claims. I want you to stay right there on that part. Read that again for me. Read that again for me. The appeals court added that plaintiffs at the early stage of a suit could not be expected to have all the evidence needed to prove their claims. Now, let me explain to you what that means. When you go on, you're at the beginning of a suit. They want you to prove it at the beginning. What you're supposed to do is go through the evidentiary process and discovery so that you can get the other stuff you need. So you call in to question memos and different things like that. You get all of that evidence in to help you prove your case. You can go back to look at their history and how many of the black people they're excluded. But all of that has to be a part of the process. There's no way for you to hit this standard at the beginning when you bring a case. They're basically saying in order to bring a case, you got to prove a case. What? I'm supposed to be able to prove a case when I get to the evidentiary part. I can't prove a case right. I can't prove a case when I bring the case. That's what the whole court process is for. But what they're telling you is no. No. You need to be able to prove it when you bring it. If you can't prove you don't have a smoking gun when you bring it, you can't be here. You can't do it. It's not going to work this way. That's impossible. That's an impossible standard. And that's what the Ninth Circuit was saying. The Ninth Circuit was saying, listen, you get to go forward if you can prove it's a motivating factor. Then you, whatever you want to do, that's discrimination. You've gotten what you need to go forward, and you can prove it, you know, in court. But you've proved that race, that this company behaved in a discriminatory fashion against you. Like race was a motivating factor, if not the determining factor. You prove that much, you get to go ahead. That's what the Ninth Circuit said in favor of Byron Allen. Now they've changed the standard. Nobody, and see, the thing is, the standard was doing different things. Like the standard was one thing on paper, and then liberal states were doing one thing, and conservative states were doing another thing. And now we have one across the board standard, which basically says it's going to be real hard. You're going to have a hell of a time suing somebody for discrimination. Because how you going to get a smoking gun? I'd like to know. I don't know how that's possible. Somebody can tell me. Anybody in the chat know? I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you get a smoking gun. I just ain't never seen nothing like it. And we have to fight. You know, it's almost, you know what it's almost like, honestly. And I'm not trying to be mean to nobody. I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm not trying to be mean to ADOS. Because the people who are in the chat are the people who were there. But we have a problem with other people. And it's almost like we are soldiers, right? It's almost like we are soldiers. And we are in the front lines and we strong. And something is heavy. And we keep looking back trying to figure out what's heavy and why it's heavy. And we pulling something and we realize that like it's a bunch of dead weight behind us. And so like instead of like being nimble and swift enough to fight white supremacy, we have like this weight, like this albatross of ignorance that just that just has been on YouTube so long. It's just like, it's so conspiratorial and so weird and so silly. And so I'm still 12, but I'm in a grown. That's what we're dealing with. And I don't know how you come out of that. I don't know how you fight white supremacy with like all this weight on you. Like how do you fight racist institutions and fight for reparations when you have like this conspiratorial albatross around your neck that won't let go? How? You know, the Supreme Court has really adopted this strict rule. And we haven't even, if we didn't have these conspiratorial people, we could really have had a conversation about like what this rule means, and an honest conversation about how everybody would be impacted. We could have really had an honest, good conversation about how to do activism, but that's not what enough people wanted. Like too many people wanted to giggle and just ride with somebody that they wanted to ride with. Too many people like wanted to be this guy too. The Supreme Court has sent Byron Allen's lawsuit back to the lower court for review. So the case is going nowhere. This is basically another win for Comcast, and nothing has changed in black people's life. I don't even know if you're black. I don't even know if you're black. I don't know who you are. And the fact that people follow this no-faced person who talks trash and does nothing. He has never had a smart thought. I don't know what people who follow this person think they deserve. If you follow him, you deserve everything that life has for you. I'm sorry. You deserve what comes. You've let this man run around for 10 years and just babble and shadow babble because he entertained you. You deserve him and he deserves you. And I guarantee you, if the mess ever hit the fan, he's gonna delete that channel and run off, and you still won't know what he looks like, and you'll be like, "Oh, Yvette, man, I guess you was right. You know, when stuff really got rough and we tried to get him to come through and come here for us, he disappeared. Oh, go screw yourself. Nobody will care. I won't." You kept that channel going. You kept the Tariq channel going. You kept all this stuff going. Well, then go eat DVDs when it gets hard. It's going to get real rough out here. Well, we're going to talk about the corona in a minute. Just eat your DVD. See if it works out for you. People have been in my inbox lately. Yvette, are you going to, Tariq took down the FBA brunch thing. Are you going to go in on him and da-da-da? And at first I said, yeah, because that's not fair. That's not right. Because people really need that money. And then I thought about it. And a friend brought it up to me. Like, you don't owe them that. The people who bought, like, I owe ADOS. Like, the people who've been riding with me, I don't owe these people who gave that money away nothing. Eat whatever you eat. Deal however you deal. I don't owe the people who gave Jay Morrison nothing either. I don't owe you a video about how Jay Morrison ain't going, that's not a stock. And he keep telling you every year, he ain't making no money. He keep telling you every year while you got to be patient while you getting laid off. I don't owe you a video to tell you that, like, oh, Jay Morrison get the money back. No, you deserve not to have the money. And you deserve not to have your $120,000. This is the life you chose. And at a certain point, everybody's going to have to live the consequences of their decisions. You're going to have to live the consequence of putting that money in somebody else's pocket. And now you are out of work and you need it. Eat air. We over here at ADOS, we owe you nothing. We owe you nothing. And hopefully you'll learn from this consequence. Maybe he'll release the money tomorrow. Maybe Jay Morrison will release the money tomorrow too. I don't know. That's going to be your problem and your cross to bear though. But don't come here, ADOS, man. Y'all was right. No, we're not doing that. We're through with that. So I just want to let everybody know we're through with that. I'm through with that. I'm through with that. I'm not doing that helping stuff no more. I'm not doing that. I'm through with that. I'm finished. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm done. I'm with ADOS all day. I'm not doing this doing this other stuff. Well, they just didn't know. Well, they had a long time to figure it out. And life looks real weird if they don't ever figure it out. If they don't figure it out, we're all in for it because we got to have a critical mass. But like they going to have to eat what they got to eat in the meantime. Because the people they pay is eating real good. The people they pay, they eating real good. The people y'all give money to, boys over there eating good. And all these Negroes y'all give money to show up for. And No Face just gonna cancel his channel when it get real hot on him. Like if y'all put the camera on him ever and figure out who he is, he gonna delete his channel and run off. Man, I showed it, man. I spent 8 years. Like I knew who Obama was right after the election, the first election. Spent the next 7-8 years telling people who Obama was. People would come to me after that. Well, that you sure was right. Shut up. I'm not doing that again. I did it then and said, well, people have to come along. But the problem that we're facing now is that you don't have time to come along. We don't have time no more. See, when you came along, if you were one of those people who didn't know, I voted for Obama the first time. I've told y'all that. But at the inauguration, I knew, we done been okie doke. But if you got to learn quick. When you realize you gotta quit. I gotta move. And you gotta understand, like, people have a track record. Antonio and I have been right a lot. ADOS has been right 100%. When we're that right, at the point you gotta say, well, you know what? They might be on to something. ADOS might be on to something because they kind of been right. But if you can't do that, I don't know. I don't know what this America has for you. Because everybody has to advocate in a specific way. And you can't advocate for your own interest as a reckless group either and just say anything. Because if you're not careful with your words, the other people can use that against you. So if you go out and just say any kind of wild stuff, then yeah, it's entertaining for people. But then you can't ever get yourself in a serious political space. But if you're a con artist, you don't ever really want to be in a serious political space. You want to just shout at black people and have them say, yeah, you're right. But you don't ever want to have to be in a space where you have to have a real conversation. And you have to have a nuanced conversation. Some people ask like, well, see, Yvette, I have a problem. Everything's coming to pass now with the coronavirus. I don't know why y'all said Democratic down ballot. We should go Republican. Did you see what the Republicans are doing? This is why you have to have a nuanced approach. You have to hold Democrats accountable by not going over there. The Republicans are trying to create a whole slush fund and give a bunch of money away to business without any kind of assurances that businesses are going to keep their workers, and they want to create like a multi-billion-dollar fund that like Trump's Secretary of Treasury gets to manage. What does your life and what does your work life look like with that? The problem that we might have with Democrats is that they don't fight enough. But do you understand that if this had been all Republicans, that would have been passed and you would have gotten no assurances? That's why you have to have a nuanced approach. You can't just have this reflexive stuff. We're just going to be Democrats. And Yvette and Tone want to go Democrat down ballot, they must be sellouts. No, it has to be a way that we hold this party accountable that we over 90% vote for anyway. We have to hold this party accountable. We can't run to this party, which just wants to gut. Not only they done betrayed their own voters, their working class voters. That's why they got Trump in the first place, because they betrayed their own working class white people. You think a party that does bad by working class white people is gonna do something good for Negroes? You got to find a way to hold this group accountable, because we're already here at this party. You can't throw the whole baby out. You got to get the baby to dance for you. Get the baby to do what it's supposed to do. Jiggle around or whatever. You gotta get this party you gotta find a way to hold this group accountable. But what this shows you in this coronavirus conversation negotiations is that the Republicans don't care. The Republicans don't care about working class white people, let alone us. Running around. How you gonna be Susan Collins and you talking about, I can't believe the Democrats are doing this with your little shaky self. You and your little shaky voice get on my nerves anyway. Senator Collins cut $870 million for pandemic prep out of the 2009 stimulus bill. How do you get to come and talk about anything? And just in case you wonder what's going on with the corona, here's the spike. Look at how the United States right there near the bottom with that orange line, just once we started testing, just took off, just started sprouting towards the front. Look at that. Now understand. Now I understand. There's an economy, but I also understand Trump is already talking about putting people back to work. Hell, people ain't even got paid yet. Why they off of work? You want to put them all back? We gonna have to. We only go. Now I've seen the scientists say. I saw a scientist today say we need at least 5 weeks. 5 weeks of quarantine. Obviously nobody cares because this is the economy. You know, it's just the economy. I understand the economy, but I don't know. Here's what McConnell did. Emerged on Sunday evening with a bill that would provide a lot of help for corporate executives and shareholders and not nearly enough for American workers. It would let the Treasury hand out billions of dollars to corporations, potentially including businesses owned by President Trump, without requiring binding commitment to preserve jobs and wages. And the bailouts could remain secret for 6 months. Now I want to show that to everybody who said, let's just vote Republican, Yvette. Where's the little boomer Negro who came in last week? Well, Yvette, you just don't know how to do power. Do you know how to do immune system? Any of us can get sick at any time. You can't have this. People are out of work. The unemployment offices ain't even, they might as well be shut down. They ain't even taking calls in these places. Apply online. Go on. They're gonna run off. They can't even deal with the demand. Now see, some people who don't have an ear for nuance, like, well, see, I told you Yvette came for Democrats. I'm telling you that you have to hold one party accountable. And in this moment, it's good that they were able to push back against something that would allow these companies to get a windfall of money and not secure your job and your wage. But see, the people who are telling you that doesn't matter are people who don't work jobs and wages anyway. You have to wonder about people. Like, I wouldn't tell you that. I just look at it. But there are a lot of people who are not me who will tell you that, and you look at what they do. Wait a minute, they don't worry about that. They ain't got no worries. But they're telling you, well, no vote. You're not gonna vote for nothing? Well, if you got money, no tangible, no vote. Well, if you got money, you know, and you got marble tables, it's easy to say that. But if you go to a job and you need politicians to behave in a certain manner, you need to hold them accountable, and you do that through a vote. Now, what you can do is what we say, Democratic down ballot, leaving that top blank. And some people say, I'm leaving Yvette, I'm leaving the Senate blank too, because my senator is blah, 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 blah. Yvette, I'm leaving the Congress blank because my congressperson is blah, 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 blah. I get that. But to just not show up and not do, so you're not even going to vote for a state lawmaker, or assembly person, or you're not going to vote for an initiative, you're not going to vote for nothing. That's abdicating the whole process. You're not going to show up for anything. Nah, you just lazy. Like, just tell me you just lazy. You don't want to read, you don't want to move. It's easy for you to talk loud and thump your chest. But this ain't the moment for that. This is not the time to be lazy. This is the time to be active and smart. And we're being led by a bunch of dullards. Dunces. Loud and wrong and don't know anything and haven't read an article or a book in the last 5 or 10 years. Just opining. Well, I tell you what it is. I tell you what. Shut. No, we gotta. I don't know how we get past that, but we gotta get past that. We have to get past that. And before I go, before I go to the calls with that, I want to just bring this up, because you have to understand. I saw a lot of people like, well, just, we could just pay the airlines off and all this stuff. This was a good article. Don't feel sorry for the airlines. And this is why you don't just reflexively bail out companies. And so in 2000, and this is about monopolies too. In 2014, having reduced competition through mergers and raised billions of dollars in new baggage fee revenue, American began reaching stunning levels of financial success. In 2015, it posted a $7.6 billion profit, compared, for example, to profits of $500 million in 2007 and less than $250 million in 2006. It would continue to earn billions in profit annually for the rest of the decade. I don't think we're ever going to lose money again, the company's chief executive Doug Parker said in 2017. There are plenty of things American could have done with all that money. It could have stored up cash and it stored up its cash reserves for future crises. Knowing that airlines regularly cycle through booms and busts, it might have tried to decisively settle its continuing contract disputes with pilots, flight attendants, and mechanics. It might have invested heavily in better service quality to try to repair its long-standing reputation as the worst of the major carriers. Yeah, I'll never fly there. I'll walk first. But what I'm saying is, even in the way you dish out bailouts, talk about loans and other things have to be negotiated. But these things would not have been negotiated if we'd had one party in office. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to be willing to think about these kinds of things in nuanced ways, as opposed to just, well, if Democrats will do, we're just going to vote Republican. What would that look like right now? Just a bunch of money given to a group of people who don't care about working people in general. I'm not saying the Democrats do. I don't believe that they do either. But I believe that there's pressure on them to, even though they don't. There's pressure on them to, like, hey, we did this great recession thing with Obama. We ain't trying to do this again. Don't know how much it will matter. But it's still better than what was on offer. And it still slowed down the process enough for people to pay attention. That's important. So you have to find a nuanced way to do this instead of just reflexively saying, if not this, then that. There has to be a better way to do these things. So Fam, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna let y'all say what y'all gotta say about the corona. I really want to hear about that. I didn't bring it up, but wash your hands. Do the best you can. Remember what I said last time. Control what you can control. You can't control how far you are away from people unless it's work. And hopefully your work is not like that. But control how close you are to people. Control how much you wash your hands. Control how much you go outside of work. You know, I don't anticipate being out very much, but if I'm out and I recognize one of y'all, I'm snatching you out your chair and just throwing you somewhere. Forget social distancing. I'm throwing you somewhere, because what are you doing? If you don't have to be somewhere, don't be there. I understand you got to go to grocery or something, because we don't know how this is a very precarious situation. I'm not trying to scare anybody, tell you to panic. What did I say last time? It doesn't cost you anything to be careful. It costs you nothing to wash your hands and hey, and you got to tell people, hey, don't walk up on me. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's disrespectful anyway. But don't do that. What you doing? You scared of that? Don't worry about what I'm scared of. I just told you not to walk up on me. I didn't say ask me no questions. I just said don't walk up on me. Because people will try to make you feel bad for managing your personal space. People will try to make you feel bad. I can't believe you don't want me. You think I got something. I don't know what you got or where you been, and you don't either. We don't know how viruses. Just stay over there. Now, you can still catch it, I know, and you can still be fine. Most people recover. You can still be fine, but since you don't know how any of this goes, just be careful. We don't know, but it costs us nothing to wash our hands. You see, I don't think I touched my face as much today, did I? You don't cost you nothing to wash your hands and just be mindful. Please be mindful. Don't be like these people. I saw a video of, it was a black restaurant. They was doing to go. But everybody in the line, because we such a jovial and just chitty-chatty group, everybody in line was doggone talking and laughing with each other. All up in everybody's face. For now, we can't do that. Just get on the phone or something, or video chat. Do something. You can't do that right now. Because we don't know. We don't know what's going on. Too much in the air. We don't know when people going to get paid and when the checks coming out and everybody fighting. Just be careful. Anyway, give me a few minutes to set up the phones. I will be back, and we will, as usual, have the conversation. the internet kept trying to mess up. I tell you the truth. Hold on a second. Whew. We back, fam, though. I have survived yet again. Anyway, going to 310. 310, what's going on?
Well, this time. So, just want to start off by saying I hope everybody's doing okay. I know we've had reports of several people contracting COVID-19, the coronavirus. I hope those people are okay as they go through the process of dealing with that. And then I know several people, even outside of contracting it, have dealt with being terminated, laid off, whatever term your employer uses. I feel for you as well. But let's get right into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So I might do a video myself as well. I'll think about it in the next 2 days or so. But I kind of wanted to come in just to clarify some things about the lawsuit with Byron Allen, things that have been said, so everybody's clear. I sent you several images. Can you pull up the first one with the $8.3 billion cash offer from, I believe, Techno? I think that one of the things that everybody doesn't understand is that this man, at least to the extent of what we can see, is going to be all right. This guy made an $8.5 billion offer for Techno. Already on the weather chart, he's going to be all right. The person that me and Yvette were fighting for was the black woman that will bring a racial discrimination case in the future and have to meet a but-for standard, that whether Adolf's or not. And I think that until it happens to you, you don't understand that this man is going to be all right. So when you start dealing with this whole unpacking of why would I protect a millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to frame him, I don't think you understand the history of this nation even after watching our show. So we live in a nation where for most of it...
Hello? Hello? Still there, Tom? All right, I think something happened. Maybe it might have been something happened with my internet. My internet's back to strange too. Something happened with the interwebs. Something's been going on. I tell you, it's always something funky. It goes on all the time. Hold on a second. We're gonna get somebody else. Let me see if we can get Tone back on the phone. Hold on 1 second for me. But you know what? Like, what he said was so on point in the sense of, yeah, like that's what it is. Like. I don't think people understand. Like, let me just bring this up for you a little bit bigger. Like, some people are like, well, he don't have that money. Like, how do you know what he does or does not have? Like, how is that? Like, how do you know that? I don't. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense what we assume about his life and his money. Byron Allen makes $8.5 billion. I don't know, but I know we make a lot of assumptions about like who he is and what he has and what he doesn't have. And all I'm saying is, I don't know how many people don't know that they don't know enough. Not just about his life, but just about like business in general and everything that means. So I think something happened with the call-in service. But let me just see if I can get Antonio back on the line. All right, 310.
What up? I hope I don't get dropped off again. If I do, I'll let the other callers come in. So we had this country, as I was just saying, when you were a black person after slavery, you had a plot of land. I don't want to grow no more cotton. I want to grow subsistence food for my own family. Said no. In that country, they want to apply a standard of law that requires you to prove racism today. What we don't understand is that when Byron Allen's case goes back down, it's no longer deciding whether the rule of law nationally is but for. It's just deciding whether he can meet the but-for. That part of the game is our part of the game, and our part of the game has now been decided. So now we move over to looking at, if you can pull up the NAACP with the DACA picture. We move and we start to understand and ask the question, well, how did we get here where it got decided and it wasn't made clear that we had a problem? Had it not been for Yvette, Carnell, myself, and the ADOS people across the country, particularly those people in the D.C. area, there would have been no one on the steps. Supreme Court case happened, and the NAACP, some of their chapters actually take money from Comcast. They get donations, along with the Urban League. They were there the day before, on the 12th, and they left on the 13th. They did some kind of weird telephonic thing the week before to provide themselves some sort of cover, but literally were AWOL in terms of the actual discussion and the fight. There should have been buses. There should have been cars. There should have been flights. There should have been at least a hotel night stay over from the 12th to the 13th to ensure that you had at least 1,000 people, if not 10,000 people on those steps the day this was heard. But they weren't there. The man that was there from ADOS said specifically, no one else was here but ADOS. I believe there was a sprinkling of people that were paid to be there from power or something of the sort. I was here. But as far as really activists and advocates, there was no Black Lives Matter. There was no NAACP. There was no Urban League. There was nothing but ADOS. So now I say this, there is no side deal. Win or lose, this case is the same for me. There's no side deal for Yvette Carnell. Win or lose, the case is the same for us. But at the end of the day, this allowed us a lens to see the discussion of reparations in an actually activated kind of way. But people who don't have an understanding, whether it be educationally in terms of advanced, being a lawyer at least, having a college education at least. But people who don't even know Byron, have never talked to him, had a lot of stuff to say that murked up the wheels. And I'm saying this to you because it's time to have a discussion about the reality of what just happened. A lot of y'all got terminated. I hope you weren't first off because you can no longer bring that case under race unless you can prove but for. I hope you weren't first to be terminated during this layoff. And I'm saying this to you because I think that we don't understand the consequence of an NAACP that wants to put a tweet out today. But didn't say, understand, it'd be one thing if they just didn't come. But the visual of them being there on the 12th for DACA and then leaving, and it has to be purposely at that point. I mean, I think one woman said she didn't even know that there was a next day, there was a hearing. I don't know how that happened. The youth leader or something, we saw a tweet from her. But at the end of the day, somebody decided to make it so they didn't have no presence. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm unpacking it, and I'm not asking the question of why anymore. I'm asking the question of what you gonna do next. Because again, Byron is going to be all right from the extent of what I understand. Now, I'm not saying that there can't be no curveball that we don't know about. But from what we understand, this is a man who is traveling in rare air for any black man in the history of the nation. But they want to talk about me and Yvette and side deals, and we still do YouTube shows because we didn't do a side deal, but that's how they conspiracy stuff. But if I know this fact about side deals and I don't have one and she don't have one, I can't trust nothing else that you got to say. So now, we start moving over and looking at but-for motivating factor. I think that one of the things that is interesting about this whole thing is, generally speaking, you usually talk in terms of but-for and then the motivating factor. Well, what we should have been studying for the whole time is a special category for race. And race alone. And in that category, if race was any factor, see, we couldn't even get there. It should have been an any factor test. If race is any factor because of the unique history of race in context of ADOSness. So there was no ADOS BLS, so we didn't even anchor that. We let blacks just go to the wayside with diversity. So we can even get to this heavy test where it should have been an any factor test. So what motivating factor should have been the middle, which is there's a bunch of factors, and race was the motivating factor amongst it. But now we have to have the fight of whether it should be but for in a country that had slavery. And now they unanimously decided that it should be the case during a pandemic. Again, the Urban League had nobody on the steps, and Mark Morial spoke out kind of against this. We had to get the Urban League Los Angeles president. He was on my station and he explained everything, but Morial wasn't helpful at all. And I'm just saying what I saw with my own eyes. Where we're at now is whether you understand this or not, the ability to bring racial discrimination case has been greatly impacted. Can you change that to the image of the AT&T? I want to explain this in fact, because I don't know what everybody else is doing. I just see a lot of people talking. I'm talking in terms of actually knowing what I'm talking about. So initially, this case had three people that he was bringing, three companies he was bringing the case against. But everybody forgets one of them, which is AT&T DirecTV. He was suing Comcast for 20. He was suing Comcast for 20. He was suing what's the other one he was suing? He was suing I forgot the name of the other company, but nonetheless, he was suing AT&T for 10.
Talking about Charter.
So 40 altogether. The reason why I bring this up is because you need to understand how this shows the level of discrimination you have to meet. Now, AT&T settled with him because of the smoking gun he had. Everybody forgets this smoking gun, and I want everybody to understand they didn't want that smoking gun in front of the Supreme Court, let alone did AT&T want to proceed forward. But understand, those cases just won't go to court. Where you got a smoking gun, they're just not going to go to court. But to get a smoking gun, I need to read this to you to show you how you get a smoking gun. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. I want to read a little bit of this article so you can get a context for it. Let me pull it up because what it explains is how, at least to my knowledge, or at least to what I understand, we got a settlement. So AT&T, this happened in 2015. AT&T images. AT&T Inc. on Tuesday, this is back in 2015, confirmed that it has fired Aaron Slater, a president who became the subject of a $100 million discrimination lawsuit for using his work phone to send racially offensive images. There's no place for demeaning behavior within AT&T, and we regret that action was not taken earlier, the company said. The images in question were found on Slater's phone by an assistant who was asked to transfer data to a new phone, according to the lawsuit filed Monday by Nomi King, a 50-year-old black woman who worked for Slater. One of the images, apparently, was of an African child dancing with his Friday, followed by a term offensive to African Americans, and been sent in a text describing it as an oldie but goodie. So let's walk with this, Yvette. He could have met but for because a black woman worked as the secretary for the VP who had her transfer accidentally data that had a racist text on it, because then he could show, come on, where we got to go with this? That, so you got to get the phone, have the data on the phone, find that message on accident to be able to bring the case, to make them even settle, because that's what they're going to settle. I want to know how somebody that's just a random worker that isn't his secretary, that don't get his phone, is going to bring her case. Because obviously this person who did this will be just as discriminatory to that person, whether you saw that. That is what but for is looking for. In a sense, when they wrote this, I have to think that they were thinking of another America. Sometimes laws have to mutate to the new facts of the way the society moves. In that America, that bull-counter America, they're going to call you the N-word and then fire you. But in this America, I gotta find your cell phone, open it up, and see an image. But I gotta be your secretary to get your cell phone, and you gotta give it to me to transfer debt. I want to know how you gonna meet that standard in a regular case. Again, they settled, and so those cases settle out. But the ones that go to court, the ones that are harder to fight, the normal cases are just gonna be a matter of, well, you were late twice, and I know that I'm letting you off first, but I'm letting you off first. I don't know. And I'm saying all this because I'm looking at everybody talking about this thing, and I may or may not do a video on it. It is what it is. I sent Byron a tweet of the image of the tweet I put up. I haven't spoken to him today. Again, whatever happens with his case, best of luck to him. But in terms of the actual ruling standard, that's set now, and we're going to see the impact of that in context of coronavirus and the layoffs with coronavirus and who they choose to lay off. And some people are going to fight to this. And the natural reaction people are going to say is, well, then why should he have not brought the case? No, the case had to be brought because without bringing the case, they were doing it anyway. So we really needed the court to actually rule in the context of a country that had slavery and Jim Crow and peonage. But they ruled in a country that did that. They ruled like the country never had that stuff. They ruled like this country is a different country. They ruled like there wasn't a pandemic. Understand that they should have set off this ruling like Yvette said. They had the hearing, but they should have set off the ruling. But part of the reason they ruled that way, and I'll leave it at this, if we can pull up the NAACP one more time, Yvette, part of the reason they ruled that way is the NAACP left. I ain't scared to rule no other way at the NAACP left. Not the churches, not the regular people in the community. The actual NAACP left on the day of the hearing. That's your organization. The Black Caucus was tiptoeing. Let's just talk about it. They put out an amicus brief the last few days. They weren't out of it. Nobody wanted to offend the money. I'm just saying there's going to be a consequence, and I hope everybody's ready for that consequence because it's a coronavirus era. And if any time that you need civil rights protection, it's when they start laying off during the coronavirus era. I'll let it go at that.
Appreciate it, Tom. Thank you. As always, don't know why, fam, but I swear the internet, the phones, everything acting up at the same. Too many people home. And people used to work evenings. Now everybody home taking all the stuff. So fam, if something's acting up that didn't used to act up as much, that's what's going on. I'm going to my next call. I'm going to 240. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? You there, 240? 240 drop. Going to 765. 765. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? What is the deal today?
What's going on, you baby?
Not too much. What's going on?
Calling from Dallas.
What's going on with you? What's on your mind?
Nothing much. I just wanted to touch on some things in regards to the coronavirus. I'm just really tired of people being irresponsible at this moment. You said something earlier about, people who aren't employed by someone, so they got this mantra that it's okay, that they're going to be okay, and nothing's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a barber. My fiance is a stylist. Dallas County just shut down salons and barbershops for the next 2 weeks. And a lot of us black people are in the service-based industry, whether we're barbers, stylists, we're cooking food for people, we hold daycare centers. They're shutting all of that down. And we still have people out there that's not taking any of this serious. You know what I mean? And I'm just tired of seeing a lot of people that I'm running into who just are sitting here and saying, "Oh, it's not that serious. Oh, I'm going to go out." We had someone call us asking us to come out to their house to cut their hair, to do their hair. So you want me to risk my safety to come to your house?
Absolutely.
For $20.
Absolutely. For you $20. You're not even gonna pay the $100.
Then we're gonna pay for my travel. Because you feel like the virus is the reason why you just want me to come out to your house because you know that I'm stuck at home, you stuck at home. So you feel like I should bite the bullet on coming out to your house anyway.
Mm. And understand how much stuff you gonna touch, from the doorknob to the head to all that stuff, and what you gonna breathe. I understand all of what you're coming in contact. See, I don't even think, fam, I don't think we understand risk in the sense of, we don't understand like what risk look like, the risk you take going. I don't know you. I don't know what you do in this house.
Yeah. I just told my pops. They just told my pops, because he has asthma and upper respiratory issues. They told him, shoot, you got to stay home until it's over. Not 2 weeks. You got to be at home until it's over.
Mm.
Because he's such a high risk.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I contemplated going back home. You know what I mean? My family lives in Northwest Indiana, close to Chicago. And I was contemplating going back home, but I had to stop and think about it like, man, what if my kids are carriers right now? And I don't know it. Because they're not letting us get tested.
Yeah, we ain't no way to just test and be like, okay, me and my kids are fine, let's go. Yeah, ain't no way to know.
So I can't even go visit I can't even go visit my parents.
Nope.
Because I'm worried about what my kids might transfer to my pops.
Absolutely. That's absolutely the case, fam. You better wave through the window. Or call them. Yep, you're right.
So I just want to leave everybody with this: is please just take it serious, stay at home, protect yourselves. You know what I mean? This is not the time for us to be talking about hoaxes and conspiracy theories and whatnot. Like, this is not the time. People are really losing their jobs over this. People are really losing money over this. People are really dying over this. So this is the time to take it serious. And I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Let some other people get in.
Appreciate it, fam. Thank you for calling in and telling us your story. Yeah, I think, like I say all the time, I think you got to just weigh the cost. And the cost of taking this serious ain't like the cost of taking this seriously is you got to go and get a bunch of blood transfusions. No, the cost of taking this seriously is to take it seriously. There are no, and you still have no assurances, but just do the best you can. You know what they're telling you to do. Try to do that. Don't go out nowhere. Even if there are restaurants still open in your area, don't go out, because they say the thing can live on surfaces for hours, for like up to 48 hours. You know how much stuff you touch in a restaurant? Don't you do that. You touch the door, you touch the table, you touch the cloth, you touch the plate, you touch the chair. It's too much touching. And you put your hand to your mouth. Even if you don't mean to. Even if you got the fork. I use the fork. You like, oh, that's the little drip. Uh-huh. I'm going to the next call. I'm going to 832. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
This coach. Hey, Yvette, this coach calling from Houston. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. First of all, I want to do a wellness check on you. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm staying out of these streets. You understand me? I'm staying out of these streets.
Right.
I just broke my pen.
This, is an overall encompassing thing. How are you doing? I think us as a black community, especially us brothers, but a lot of the sisters too, we owe you an apology for the whole Tariq and the whole Jason Black thing. I know you're not gonna really, let me, go there. But I think we owe you an apology for the way it all went down. I think it was absolutely ridiculous the way the community. And I ain't gonna say they turned their back on you, but I just feel like we should have stepped up and done more in that situation. So I'm doing a wellness check on you for all the stress that you've been through leading up to now.
Well, I'm okay. I'm pretty good. But and I agree with you, actually. Like, I know, like, let me just say this. There were people who were absolutely there. Like, who were absolutely on the front lines. And don't think I didn't see you when all that stuff was going on. There were some people, and I saw you too, who ducked their heads and decided, I'm going to run high. And I understand why some of them ran and hid, because people were doxing people and all kinds of other stuff. But at that point, you have to get together and figure stuff out. Like, there were a lot of little low-down, dirty jokes that were told, and some of y'all were sniggling. I saw you. So I understand what you're saying, and I accept your apology.
Yeah, and I wasn't apologizing for myself.
I know you didn't do that.
But, it's crazy the way, things have been going. As far as that, I mean, like, just looking at the Jason Black thing, for example, this dude, like you say, no face. This dude literally be going off on people, going left field on any situation. And black people just stand on the phone and take that. what you said earlier about them deserving what they get. How you let this no-face dude from apparently Louisiana, who we don't know, how you just let him talk to you and do whatever? I just don't understand. And I be literally, I listen to him just to understand where people are coming from. But he's bad. I ain't gonna lie, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Me either.
Maybe I'm tripping. I just don't get it.
Me either. That's me and you both. And let me just say this too. I don't even find him entertaining. Like, I don't even know what I like. The thing is, I don't even understand when people say like, "Oh, I find this person is entertaining." Do you know how many funny comedians there are on YouTube and Instagram? If you want to laugh, we have more than enough funny comedians on YouTube and Instagram. This is not it. And if you want to be serious, we have enough serious people who write books and stuff, not just me. Like, if you want the serious stuff, I don't know what lane this person fits in, especially when they're a coward. Only a coward would not show their face. Either you're a coward or you're ashamed of how you look. Whichever one, you need to show your face.
Exactly. And as far as Tariq goes, you know, once again, I'm just scoping, trying to see what's going on. I went to this live yesterday. In the midst of all this chaos that we're going through, Florida cases rising up. Louisiana, New York, Texas, Cali, wherever we are, these cases are rising up. This dude is premiering some R&B mink stuff. Like, what the hell are you? How tone deaf is that? Just like Tone was saying about LeBron and the Instagram sharing his shoes, you premiered an R&B video in the midst of the most dramatic and the most devastating points in all of our lives. This is worse than 9/11, worse than anything.
But see, people don't understand it. Like, they don't care. Like, if you care, you say, you know what? I'm not going to premiere any kind of music or anything because I don't really want, because I don't really want people to have to like, I don't want to encourage people to do something that's irresponsible, right? In terms of buy this or do this, or I don't even want that to be on anybody's mind right now, right? If people want to donate to me, like if you're him, and people want to donate to you, they will. You don't even really gotta say much. If they want to, they will. Like, you don't encourage them to spend anything because they're gonna listen to you and they're gonna want to buy your stuff or all that stuff. You don't want to do that. You want to be in the mindset of, okay, how can I help you right now? How can I help this group of people that listens to me and shows up for me? And let me just be honest. Like, the way black people have showed up for Tariq is phenomenal. Like, he don't even have to go and get venture capital. They pay for all his stuff and all of that stuff and whatever he want to do, whatever project he want to do, whether he come through with it or not. They don't care. It's giving money. Like, when a group has been that loyal to you, you have to be loyal to them, or at least you should. But then if the question becomes, why should you though? Because your people don't care. They don't care how you beat them or how you treat them or how you don't come through. They don't care. Like, they don't care how they're treated. Like, do you understand how disrespectful it is? We have a disease that you can catch and people being laid off and you talking about, ooh, I got a song or whatever the hell he got. I don't even know what people are thinking right now.
Right. It's this convoluted type street thing that they get from them. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida originally, but I stay in H-Town. So, I understand a pimp when I see one. And I just think a lot of these people, especially, kids that graduated from college, they're real susceptible to this thing. Because they trying to, I don't know, it's weird, man. Even with Jason Black, I be going off on the people in the chat rooms like, y'all talking like this some street, y'all not about all that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, it's so convoluted and it's so weird. Yvette, I was looking through some old 2009 Facebook posts, and it was cool back then, man. So I'm gonna always support you.
Appreciate it.
We had debates about, you real down to earth, man. I'm always have you back down here on this level at the H-Town Duval. I love you.
Appreciate it, fam. I appreciate
let nobody talk down on you.
I appreciate it, fam. Thank you. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. Appreciate you calling in. No, listen. You might like me, you might not, but I'm genuine. I'm not. I pride myself on authenticity. Anyway, let me go to the next call, fam. Let me get it. So let's see where we are going next. I'm going to 917. 917. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Cornell, what's good?
What's going on, family? How you been? You hanging in? Ain't you in? Wait a minute. Are you in New York?
Yeah, this is Devon from Brooklyn.
You all right?
I'm trying to stay corona free up here. It ain't easy, but you know.
That's what I heard.
We done became the epicenter in a matter of days.
Yeah, I heard that it's everywhere. I heard they got little. What did the New York Times say? The New York Times said something. They said official warns of alarming virus attack rate in New York region. That's why I asked if you were maintaining yourself, keeping your immune system up.
Listen, I'm maintaining, but unfortunately, I called into a Tone show on Friday, and my job has been deemed one of those essential jobs, so I can't even stay home. So I've been gloved up, masked up, all that, trying to, stay safe out here as much. So if you see me out there, don't grab me up. I got a job to do, you know what I'm saying?
We understand.
Yeah, but I want to say a couple things about the corona. First off, to the last caller, this is no shade, but, he started off talking about he owe everybody an apology, or he owe you an apology. That's because he's still watching them. If he really want to apologize to you, he don't need to be giving them no type of views, no type of airtime, no type of status, man. Just leave them all alone. We cut them people up a long time ago.
I think we had no choice. We tried to bring them on. We tried. We did everything we could, but it didn't work.
Word. Yeah, exactly. But I just want to say that no shade. We love them. We love all the people. But I'm just saying, if you really want to show you got your back, like I said, I was out here throwing tables and throwing chairs when you were throwing chairs. So if that's
the real ones.
Cut everybody else off.
Yeah, the real ones was throwing chairs, and I appreciate that.
But out here in New York, a couple things is going on. Just to give you an update on the streets. I was saying over the weekend, about 24 to 34 MTA workers got the virus. So right now they got people getting on at the back of the bus. People not even paying. Like they got the front of it chained off, so you got to get on in the back door and get off in the back door. And we already know they went on lockdown. It started yesterday at 8:00. Like the brother said, where he's from, out here in New York too, the barbershops are closed. Everything's closed. That's non-essential. You can only order food. You can't go in and sit down nowhere. And, it's only getting worse because, like he said as well, out here, too, we got a bunch of people out here acting a fool, not really taking it seriously. And a lot of people out here, for whatever reason, really feel like it's an old person's disease, old person's virus, which it is. But a friend of mine, her brother, he's 27. He caught the virus, no pre-existing conditions, no upper respiratory pre-existing conditions, and he's having trouble breathing. He said he feel like he got hit by a truck, and they got him now in quarantine, and he's on a ventilator. 27.
Wow, fam.
So we never really know. Yeah, we never really know how it's gonna affect us, or how it's gonna affect you at all. So, I would say to the family, just be safe, as safe as you can. Don't go out if you don't gotta go out, no matter what your age is. Definitely be mindful of the older generation, but take care of the babies and yourself as well, no matter what your age is. And also, I just found this out too. For anybody, during this time, whatever your financial status is, if you Google coronavirus freebies, locally and nationally, there's a bunch of different companies giving things away, promotional things, things online as far as educational programs that we used to pay for but are now free, different free classes you could take. So you can really use your time wisely and educate yourself. Obviously, read the book club, and do all the work that we're doing. But there's tons of resources that are being provided for free if you just go and search it.
Okay. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for calling in, and you stay safe out there. Don't let nobody get too close.
I'm a try.
All right, fam. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. You don't take care of yourself, I don't know, you can't always depend on other people to be there to take care of you. I'm going straight to the next call. I'm going to 301. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Mr. Yvette, how you doing? So wonderful to hear your voice. This is
What's going on, fam? How you?
DC area, DMV.
Good to hear from you. What'd you say, fam? I couldn't hear you. You said what?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, just first of all, Moss from the DMV, and just checking on
What's
you. The other
up?
callers were asking, so I gotta just say it's wonderful to hear your voice, and I'm glad that part of some of the relief for most of us ADOS is seeing you, and still making sure that you're coming through on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'm looking forward to book club Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost through with it. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to chiming in and giving my opinions. I know other people are. Today has been a really hard day for me personally, and I think it's because not only with the Byron Allen case, and I want to say first and foremost to everybody who had supported those of us who were out there in front of the Supreme Court, and those who had done the best that they could to get the message out about the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and how Byron was fighting for us to make sure that it wouldn't be eroded and that it could still work for us. It didn't go in vain.
Yeah.
I had somebody say to me today, well, do you think it was, do you think that, it's definitely a setback for ADOS, but do you think you were wrong in doing it in the first place? I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because, when things like this happen, and thank you so much to you and Tone for making us aware of just, the cruxes of it, getting into the true details of it. And I will say that it's a setback for ADOS when it comes to the case.
Yes,
one thing we're going to have to look out for when it comes to that is we're going to start having, it's going to be like this. You're going to have those who are in the room and those who will get the advantage and who will be the tokens. You're going to see a rise of tokens, be it black as Crayola, flat blackness. You're going to see a rise of not only even more immigrants who are coming into whatever field and using it and being used against us, even more so to fight against those who want to, when we bring up, a case and so forth, it's going to be, well, look, we can't be racist, you can't use the but-for clause because look at this person, look at that person, they're dark.
They're dark. That's going to be the standard. They're dark. Or just Hispanic, but they light. But yeah.
I mean, I hate to sound like it's wrong, but it's absolutely right. They're dark. They're darker than you, and they have a funnier name than you. So how can we be, racist? How can we be prejudiced against you and so forth? We're going to give this person an opportunity and look at these little crumbs we give them, and whatever thing they have going on, they're able to thrive. How come you can't do it? So be on the lookout for that. But today it's with the case, and today, like I live right outside of D.C. in the state of Maryland, for those in the DMV know, the Maryland governor here, Governor Hogan, just shut down all non-essential, businesses and workers and so forth. And I think with being ADOS, one of the things that gave us a sense of just, trying to fight through it was, well, at least if I get up and go to work, I am able to, fight through it. I'll be as careful as I can. But now that that's taken away, it's like, wow, that. And today I learned of a few people who, who are fighting COVID-19 right now. So this particular day hasn't been a great day. But, in my head, anybody who listens to gospel music, and I can't say that I'm the biggest gospel music fan, but I just love music. So there's this song by William Beckton where, he talks about being encouraged no matter what's going on. He'll make it all right, but you got to be strong. So to all my ADOS family who, have been laid off, lost their jobs, who are dealing with family members, or maybe even those who are listening, who part of the encouragement of them fighting the coronavirus is to look at Yvette and, still get their information, still know that somebody loves them, somebody's fighting for them, that, hey, be encouraged no matter what's going on. Sis, I love you.
Love you back,
as always. I always give you your roses when I call. I'm not going to stay on the line too long. I just wanted you to be encouraged. ADOS continue to be encouraged. And I'm going to finish up my book, and if I can't get in Wednesday night, I'm going to try to speak to you Thursday night. And man, if anybody hasn't been reading this book, look, so many, and the sad thing is, so many crushing things learn in this book are going to continue to come to fruition, so much so after we get out of this whole catastrophe with coronavirus. So once again, if Tone is still on the line, hey Tone, bro, love you, man. Stay encouraged. You did your thing with trying to make sure that people knew about the Civil Rights Act of 1866. And as I said before, for anybody who feels as though that it's a loss, yes, it's a setback for ADOS, but we can't look at it as a loss. This is something that we are going to have to, be able to use in the best way possible for whatever obstacles come against. And once again, ADOS fans, stay encouraged. Love all of y'all. And hopefully I can talk to you Thursday night. Sis.
Thank you. Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it as always. Love it when that March comes. Appreciate it. Love it when you call in, fam. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let me just say this in terms of what he said too. All of this is just training, because we're going to have other stuff to come. So regardless of what happened, if you organized and did your thing with this, that's training for future struggles, and you positioning yourself as a leader within this thing, because you've done this and you've had the training here. This is not a Messiah leadership kind of group that we're doing. You're positioning yourself as a leader here, because we did this and this is how we did it, and you can teach other people who just come in. It's all training. You got to do this training, right? And the second thing I want to say is this. The kind of way I think about life sometimes is, it's like the sky, right? Like, some days it's warm and the sun is on your pretty face and everything is wonderful, right? And some days it's a storm or it's a hurricane or whatever, and the atmosphere isn't very kind. That's just how the weather moves. That's life. It moves in cycles like that, doesn't it? And the thing that you have to do is be prepared within those cycles. That's where I fault us. But even when there's a storm, you always know that the sky is behind the storm. The sky is still the sky. Like, it's just the storm is here now. You got to get through it. And that's kind of where we are. I'm going to another guy. I'm going to try to take a couple more calls before I end. 253. What's your name? Where you calling from? What is on your mind?
Hello?
Hey, 253. What's going on?
Oh, 253. Hey, Yvette. This is Steve from Washington State. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I just want to be real brief. We're pretty much a step from lockdown up here, and it was proven on the news that it was 23,000 negative people who took the test that showed negative. Just because you show negative, that don't mean the next day you will contract it. So you can't go in naive about this virus. This is a no-joke virus, and there's just too much with Tone on the line and you talking what's really going on. I cannot afford, for me, as an older ADOS, I cannot afford to carry that stress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to go at this with a lot, with logic, with a level head, and with faith. I can't be all emotional. But what really is getting my gourd, and it's not. I just have to say, what's frustrating is that people elected this president, who is known for bankruptcy, who is known for corruption to a whole new level. Now you got the Senate and the Congress are at a stalemate with actually helping monies that can actually help people, the families, the single moms. They're at a stalemate. And there's a common thread in all of this. And, I just have to step back and I just have to breathe. And the only thing I got in control is how I react. And right now it's about staying healthy. It's about watching what I eat. It's about going out only when necessary.
Yeah.
Only when necessary, and to exercise. I just want everybody to keep a cool head. We all will get through this, and I encourage, if they decide to pass on the checks, by the time that happens, some of us will be back to work, but when they decide to do that, then I encourage people, if you can, to take a little teeny part of that and put it away for future, because you just never know. This is a learning curve on how to learn to save on minimum. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
I know these are stressful times. Yvette, I love you to death.
Love you back, fam.
You keep the faith and you keep on going.
All right, fam.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to take one more call, but yeah, I think you don't panic. You do what you can. Like, and if you find yourself starting to panic, you just, one thing I would recommend, just slow down. Because sometimes panic happens, a bunch of stuff starts happening in your mind at one time. What about this now? Next thing you know, you damn crying somewhere. No, just slow down. Slow down, pump the brakes. Just slow down everything that's happening in your head to a manageable pace. It's kind of like even if you're running and just feel like, slow down a minute. If you panting or whatever, just slow down a minute. It ain't going to, just to reduce your pace for a minute, ain't going to hurt nothing. Get control of whatever's going on. Just slow down. There's no need to panic. You just control the controllables. That's where we are. So I'm going to take 908. I'm coming to you, 908. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm from New Jersey.
Hey, Ella.
Hi, I just have a few ideas of ways that you could protect yourself. One of the things is I do have respiratory issues, and I am in the elderly group, so
okay.
Now I'm still having a hard time coming to terms with that because I don't feel elderly. But I'm in my 60s, so I just wanted to put it out there that the eyes are also a portal way too when people sneeze. So people don't understand that you can walk into where people don't cover their mouth. I have gotten sick that way, walk into droplets. So there's several things that you can do. One of the things that I do is there's Kaja. Okay, it's a black eyeliner. They call it kohl, but it has to be made the natural way. You can get it on eBay. And what it is, it has actual kohl in it, and it's made from different herbs, and you put it on like liner. And that will give you some protection because of the kohl, the charcoal that it's made from. It will help absorb to form another layer of protection. Also, too, you can wear swimming goggles. When you go on to the CDC, you can look and it says, how it stays on material, on soft things, and how long this virus actually lasts. So there's a product that you can get. It's called Gloves in a Bottle. I was selling it at one time to a dentist because they're in the faces of people, and if you put it on your skin, it forms a barrier, and it's not suffocating. It's really great. It's not suffocating, but it will give you 4 hours of protection before you have to reapply it. And people just need to take this serious. This is, if you've got a compromised immune system, as I do, it's not nothing to play with. You can get it and be out of here and not see the next day. I mean, people don't really understand that. This is that serious. So, let's see, that was one, and then what was it? Okay, the mask. You can go on eBay and get masks, and some of them are made with charcoal. Okay, people are just running to Amazon, but you can get a lot of these things on eBay. So I just wanted to put that. Oh, and hats, because hair being another source.
I heard that they like to cling to the hair. The germs do. I heard that. Ooh.
Yes, the hair. So wearing the hair out, it stays a long time on, I think it stays up to 3 days on plastics. So if you're wearing them cheap weaves and you got it out flipping, you're just, pretty much, what you call it, filtering the air with your hair. Okay?
No, you didn't.
So, now is the time to be wearing, wearing some hats, styling some hats. Pull the hats out.
Yeah, y'all got nice faces. Put a hat on. Throw the hat. You got to throw the hat in the washing machine when you get home, don't you? Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that, or you, depending on what the hat is made of, you can spray Lysol on it. Okay.
That's too much.
But we have to take
I can't get
really
my hands
serious.
on. I should have got the Lysol earlier, but I thought I had some. Oh, but I can't get none no more. I could have sworn I had some. When I got all my supplies, I could have sworn I had some.
If you don't have Lysol, this is another thing you can use too. A lot of people are not aware of this. Of course, they know about the vinegar, but a lot of them don't know about the vodka. You can use vodka. The higher the alcohol content, the better, because it's more alcohol. It's actual alcohol. Grain alcohol. That's alcohol. You add a little bit of distilled water to it, put it in a spray bottle so you don't, light up something in case it sparks or whatever.
She said light up.
Have a spark. But you can use those too.
Okay. She wants you to get that. What kind of proof
Okay,
is that?
so-
100 proof? What you?
Well, the vodka, yes, you get it 100 proof. The
We
grain
need to know what to look
alcohol,
for at the liquor
highest I
store.
saw was 191 proof, and I
Oh.
got the biggest one. It's bigger than the fifth. I don't know what that is, a gallon.
She said it's bigger than the
So you're
fifth.
good. You got a lot of that you can, yeah, you got a lot of that you can clean with. A lot of other cleaning agents that people are not aware of. It's called Spray 9. Okay, they use that to clean battleships. Okay? That's what the Navy uses. A military man told me that. I said, okay, here we go, right here, Spray 9. I'm kidding.
The fam know. The fam know. They've been in here. But they be using their vodka for libations. They don't drink it. But thank you. You got anything else? But I appreciate it. 191. That's a lot.
Let me see. Let's see. It was Spray 9, and it was. Oh, you have to think about the mosquitoes. They're really not sure. They're really not sure. If you ask me, they're not really sure how this thing is spreading. But we did not have a hard winter. Okay. But here in New Jersey, I was had been down south and towards Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia area, and they didn't have a hard winter. So you're going to have extreme pestilence this year.
Pestilence,
Get your
I like that word.
mosquito spray and mosquito lotion now while you can.
All right, fam. I appreciate you, Carl. I'm gonna get out of here, but I want to thank you for calling in. And fam, don't ask me. I don't know. Don't ask me whether or not what is and what's not. I'm not sure. I just wash my hands and try to stay away from stuff. And I'm paranoid. I come in and just be stripping. I don't want nothing on me. No, I don't want nothing inside that was outside. If it was outside, it goes straight to the wash. I don't want to bring it inside and I wash my hands, wash my face. Just got me paranoid. Anyway, fam, we're gonna end it right there. For the night. Somebody said alcohol is for drinking. Anything else is against God. Why y'all like this? Anyway, fam, I want to thank everybody for coming through. If I didn't get you, we got 2 more shows this week, so we can still have a conversation. Hit that like button. Please share. Please hit that bell if you haven't hit that bell so you notifications and all that good stuff. Hit subscribe. If you haven't gone to subscribetobrown.com, please do that. I send out information of the coronavirus and other stuff that's going on right now, and I'm sending it to everybody right now because it's wild out there in these streets. So fam, please do all of that. I appreciate it. Let me see. Did I forget anything? I'm not sure. Don't forget book club Thursday. We're gonna have that conversation. And fam, be easy breezy. And we will talk again when it's time to talk again. Take care of yourself. Be safe. It don't cost you nothing to be safe for you and your family. Easy breezy, be safe. Until next time, fam. Until we talk again. And you better show back up here in good health. Hopefully I do too.